InkDifferent Studio. Pick up your brush today.
Hey everyone, welcome to the InkDifferent Studio. This is Fiona speaking. As some of you actually asked me how to do the mounting of the paintings, for ourselves, because we're not in a land where there's a place where you can take your stuff to. And it becomes something a bit sort of annoying, and we would like to find out how to do the mounting ourselves, with the stuff that we have at home. So today, let us talk about how to do this. We call the mounting process at home directly. So this is the painting we have mounted. And I will show you in a moment how to exactly do this. This is right before the cutting process. So this whole piece has been mounted, and I will show you how this whole thing was done, okay? Before, it was just a piece of paper, rice paper that is thin and they're flimsy. Now, with the mounting, the paintings have a certain thickness. You see the painting? Used to be just a thin piece of paper, now it's all flat and it's straighter and it's ready to be presented. This is a style we're trying to achieve, all right? So this is the thing we want to do. But before we get to the mounting, this is rice paper, as you know. I have a roll of raw rice paper. I have several rolls of rice paper, but these things can also exist in this way. So for this paper, for example, it's also rice paper, but it's pre-mounted. So the thing is, it comes already thick. So you can use this kind of thing directly for your production, for your own creation of your artwork. This is totally doable, and the paper is quite nice. Only problem is that this kind of paper is a lot more expensive than this other more raw kind of material. So it's a choice in the end. But if you don't have this and you want to mount your own painting to make it flat and presentable instead of this thin paper that we have, that's what we're here to do. So in order to do the mounting, we need a few things in place. So to start with, you need a table that's actually decent sized. I use this table to paint on. I use this table to also mount. This is the thing you need: a flat surface without very distinctive texture on it. These are important in the selection of the table. I hope you have something like this. If you, for example, have that kind of very wooden structured table, those I'm afraid are not going to work out. It has to be rather flat. Besides the table, we need a few important things. First of all, we need a gluten-free flour option. You can use regular flour too. However, the gluten-free one allows your painting to be mounted with more integrity and it lasts longer. The glue we're going to make out of these will be better. So that's the gluten-free part. I actually eat with less pricey things, but for the mounting, I always give it best. So that's gluten-free. We have this gigantic brown brush, and this one actually is as old as I am, something like that. This thing I will put in the description so you will know exactly what it is. Okay, so brown brush. You also need a flat brush like this. For this kind of brush, this has many brush joints together. You can just use one flat brush. This is also okay. The hair is goat hair. Okay, this is a goat hair brush. And we know that the goat hair is quite useful in the traditional Oriental arts, including the painting that we do. And for the mounting, it is the same. You also need to get yourself a little spray bottle. Mine is a tiny little bottle. So any kind of bottle that allows you to do the spray, to spray some water on the surface, that should do. At home, we are going to just take the things we already have and make do. And last thing, it's not exactly necessary. If you have a little knife like this, it could work, like a butter knife kind, or a knife that you use to paint oil paintings. This is to be used to take your painting off the surface. These are the basic things. You also have to have a surface, a flat, wide enough surface for your paintings to dry on. So I've been using old doors, okay? So you will see in a moment, that's what I've been using. I've been just trying to make do. And the thing is, at home, these things for the mounting is actually enough. Important thing is you need rice paper to mount. It does not have to be high quality, but you need rice paper to mount. And if you have been wondering about what mounting eventually does, other than the things I've shown you, this is what mountings eventually will do. The scrolls. I am not able to do this myself, but with the mounting process we're going to talk about, you will have the very first step of making a scroll. If you continue with it, you can totally make your own scroll, but you will need to have these cloth that we call the silk side and these wooden sides. You can make your own if you want to, but there's a whole lot of little details that you have to make for yourself. This we will put aside. If I were living at home in China, I would not do the mounting myself because it's so much easier to just send it to the places where you can just have it all done. But at home here, if we have these needs, what we can totally do is by adding this layer of mounting, and our paintings are totally presentable. Like this piece, for example. This one I've just mounted and I've put in the frame and is ready for display. This is pretty cool, no? You will see the mounting of this piece in a moment as well. Alright, enough talking, let's go for it.
It is important to make the glue correctly. However, in the traditional sense, the glue making is rather complicated. It's not necessary anymore, especially for making these process at home. So what we need is room temperature water and the flour, of course. The proportion between the flour and the water should be 3 times or 4 times the amount of water to the same amount of the flour. You can feel free to sift the flour a little bit. Also mix it with the water before you turn on the fire. When you turn on the fire, keep it low. Keep it on a very low setting in your pot and keep stirring during the making of the glue. After it's done, you should see the bubbles. You should also see that the glue has turned rather transparent. And that's when you can decide that's about the time that's done. We have the glue we just made. Set it aside, somewhere safe. We have a little moist cloth on the side and some papers for cleaning on the side. This is the first painting we're going to try. But first of all, let us cut a slice of rice paper that fits the size. So I've gotten myself a roll of rice paper. This one actually fits the size quite okay. Let's use this and cut a chunk that works for this sheet. So you see the size of this painting is all covered, okay? Especially for new, having slightly bigger edges would definitely help us. Put this roll back. Okay, after adjusting the sheets, as you can see, the sides are left and we have enough paper to work with. And let's start with this piece. So we put the painting down, and for the paper we roll it not too loose from one side. We roll it all the way slowly to the end. Okay, make it like a little, not too tight of a little roll, and we keep this on the side. So when we apply this paper, we will be using it from one edge to the other. Now we flip our painting first. Okay, we flip it so the surface of the painting is actually downwards. And now we have a brush which is moist, and we have the glue we have just made, and now it's kind of chill. We are going to use this white surface to do the mounting. For this paper itself, it feels a bit rough and a bit wrinkled and pretty thick. So I will use the water to spray on it gently. Use my big brush to brush on it gently too. Just so that it flattens a little bit. This process depends on the paper. If your paper is thin enough, you don't need this at all. But whatever you do, you have to have a surface that's wide enough. Okay. Put this on the side. I have very limited space to share with you. That's why you have to see me moving things back and forth all the time. And now the important thing. We are going to apply this glue in the middle first. Okay. Theoretically, we're going to make the
left and the right side as well. This might not work on all the paintings, but this is the starting point for our mounting. And now we apply the glue as if we're making the British flag. It's in that direction, okay? So always from the middle points to the edges. As my painting is very long, you will see that the middle vertical lines are applied a little more, but if you have a short one, such as a square kind, it'll be much easier to do, as you may see. As you apply, you're gently applying it, and the paper should be rather flat at this point. If it's not flat, you can gently lift your paper also and make it flat. Remember, the direction is as if you're doing a British flag. And the amount of glue should be not dripping. Should be just right, but not too moist either. By the way, this painting I am mounting is going to be our next course. See here, I have a little cringe, so I'm going to lift it gently. Top down kind of sideways, you know, all the way out. Don't use force. The other sheet of rice paper that I have is exactly the same as the one I have used to paint this piece, and they are rather thick kinds. My Gombi painting, the other kind, that's a bit thinner, the paper. So this process might look a little different between the two kinds. I will show you that one in a bit. Now, put this on the side. Grab your little cloth and clean the desk from the side, from all sides. Be gentle with everything that you do. Now, we pick up the little roll that we have just made and this big brush, and we're going to have to visualize whether the things are flat or straight. And once it's placed on the paper, we're going to apply this top-down movement really quickly all the way to the other side. As you roll this sheet of paper, as you unroll it, in fact, and you're applying pressure on this thing. Now, once the whole thing is flat on top, you're going to use the same brush to apply more pressure from the middle out, as if you were just applying that glue just now. Just make sure that every single bit of the second layer is sticking to the first layer, okay? Especially the corners. Don't forget about the corners, okay? Every single bit should be sticking. And the second layer should not really have wrinkles either. Once you are done with this part, you are pretty good, and you can proceed. So now we're going to use the same glue and the wide brush again, and we're going to just add the 4 lines of glue on the sides all the way all around, so that this glue will stick to the surface, the vertical surface that we're going to dry this painting on, okay? All 4 sides. So don't leave a corner anywhere and have enough glue on it. So now the 4 sides are done. Next part is important. You lift it from one side, and the 2 sheets should come together. Okay, you just lift it like this. So now we have to walk together with this sheet of paper. As I have very limited resources, I cannot have the camera moving with me, but you understand. Go to the place where you have that vertical surface right now. All right, you see, now this painting has been pasted paste it to the surface, which is actually old door. You use the big brush, like this, to apply the pressure on top first, all the way out, all the way, the right side first, and then left side. Make sure every single bit sticks to the back side, okay? And we do the bottom last. All right. So after this part is all done, we will use the little sprayer and apply some water in the middle so that everything on the outside dries first, then the inside dries. So then we will leave this to dry for 24 hours, then we'll see each other then. Okay, what do you think from just now? Let's try again though. This one is a gongbi painting that I have recently made. It will eventually be round, but I have to cut it later after the mounting. I usually mount it in the bigger size, and then I can basically rearrange it somehow. So you flip it. This is a rather thin kind of rice paper. And for this other sheet, we roll it. Remember which side normally covers how much, right? Then you can roll it and put it on the side. Like that. Somewhere on the side that you can use in a bit. You have your little cloth nearby. The surface is actually clean and dry, okay? We are going to use the glue again. The amount of glue that we made would normally last about 3 paintings. Depends on the size. For this one, I'm not going to use that spray first because it's not necessary. The painting itself, it's flat enough. Huh? So, middle first. You see all these wrinkles? That's totally normal. But this painting, as I said, the paper is really, really thin. So in the making, in the spreading of this glue, I have to be rather careful. If you have any hard wrinkles that's made on the paper during the mounting process, then that means you will not be able to remove those anymore. Good news is you can always lift them during this process. The paper is fine, but you still have to be very gentle. You see now the differences between the papers. This one is a much finer kind of paper. Be gentle. It's just like the painting process. You gotta be gentle with it. If you're not in a good mood, do not do the mounting. I am serious. Been there, done the wrong things myself. Remember that British flag, huh? Middle first, and then I have a little hair in the middle. I'm gonna have to move that out. This little hair comes from the brush, which is normal because these brushes are always gonna lose a bit of hair here and there. This part, don't do it too slowly either because you don't want your glue to dry. You keep your station clean because whatever stays on the surface now will stay on the painting forever. Okay, now remove the things from the side. Pick up the other paper and your big brush. Remember the sides of your paper. Quickly up and down motions. Now apply the glue on all corners, on all 4 sides. If you have a bit of a wrinkle here and there, normally during the drying process, it'll be flattened on its own. So these things I'm not too worried about. These wrinkles appeared because I applied too much glue in the explanation process just now. But when you do that, you shouldn't have such issues. Now let's lift it and dry it on the surface. If you're unsuccessful in lifting both sheets of your paper together, there could be several reasons. One could be that your glue was too weak, too much water. Another could be that you didn't apply enough pressure. If this happens, you should try to use your either fingernail or a little blade or something to help the second sheet to come together. All right, now the top first and the right side. Make sure it all sticks. And then the left side. And then the bottom. You can see spray bottle to spray the middle of this painting. And voila. All right, now it's been 24 hours. Let's see how this has become. You see everything is dry. You can touch it. You can feel that everything is flat, just the way we wanted it. And when lifting it off the board, depending on the surface of the background, some of these, like this one right now, is very simple to lift. So you start from one corner and you can just go with it. It won't hurt it, okay? Because of the surface. If something is a bit more stuck, you gotta use your tools. You can totally use such a thing. Little tool like this that's used for oil painting to get the art off the what we call the wall. That is totally doable. Just like that. Actually, I don't need to do that because it just comes right off. So now we have a fully mounted piece of art. But the thing is, for this piece of art to be usable, we have to cut it. That should be easy. Get your tools and get it done. And for this one, let's see if it's easy to pull. Nope. See, the surface is not the same, and you will need some tools to help you. You can also cut around, just like around here, to take it off completely. But since it's my door, I'm not going to cut on the door. So I'm gonna have to apply some pressure here and there to find the place where I can stick this tool in. I can do this, you see. But since I'm recording at the same time holding my phone, this is not the easiest. I need both hands for this part. But you see here, the wrinkles that were forming yesterday during the mounting, they completely flattened. But this won't happen on all things. If your paper directly was not a flat paper when you applied the glue, then that you have a problem. This was the background. The background flattened itself. That's not the same. So I hope this short video provides you with the essential information about mounting. I am Fiona. I'd like to see you again next time.
For more information, check us out at InkDifferentStudio.com.